Hey everyone. What's a general without their soldiers? A god without their followers? Max Rebo without the Max Rebo Band? Today we'll talk about each member of the Max Rebo Band. Welcome to Max Rebo Week. This is Star Wars Music Analysis.
Do it.
In the original 1983 release of Return of the Jedi, which saw the first ever appearance of Max Rebo and crew, the Max Rebo Band was only 3 members: Droopy McCool, Snootles, and Max Rebo himself. I've talked about Rebo in previous videos, so I'll focus on everyone else in this video. Snootles is the lead vocalist of the Max Rebo Band. She's from the alien race known as the Twi'lek. Sai is pretty sneaky. She doesn't like the deal that Max has made with Jabba and ends up working for his enemies to spy on him for a bit. Eventually though, she double-crosses them as well when she leaks false information to them that's been given to her by Bith Fortuna. After Jabba's death, Sai stays with Max in Legends to form the Max Rebo duo, which is a pretty big name compromise when you think about it. She eventually tries to go solo but never really has any success. Sai's original name was actually going to be Miss Snooty, and she was the only one of the group that was originally a puppet, and she was voiced by Annie Argabest. In the special edition release, she was changed to CGI. Droopy McCool was of the species Kitonak from Kirdo 3. The Kitonak were a species of aliens that had 2 pairs of lungs and also only needed to eat about once a month, both great attributes for aspiring musicians. And this is probably a great time to remind everyone to support me by liking this video, subscribing, and even becoming a Patreon of this channel in the link below. McCool played the Chidinkalu horn, although StarWars.com calls it a Chidinkalu flute, but this does not seem to function anything like a flute. The instrument is more similar in design to an English horn, which is closely related to a more common instrument, the oboe, both being double-reeded instruments. I'm not sure how the instrument changes pitches exactly. I don't see any keys here, and Droopy only has 2 fingers on each hand, so they wouldn't do much good anyways. There may be some way though that he turns different portions of the instrument though to compress and open sections in order to get different pitches. McCool's original name is apparently unpronounceable to humans, but his first nickname was Snit, which was given to him by Orbis, a slave owner who had once owned Droopy and forced him to play in his own band. He was later re-nicknamed Droopy McCool by Snootles herself. And after Jabba's sailbar crashes, Droopy leaves the band and sets off into the desert, looking for others of his own kind. He's played by actor Deep Roy, who also played the Oompa Loompas in the 2005 movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, among many other notable performances. When the special edition of Return of the Jedi was released, the Max Rebo Band had been expanded to include 9 other members. Ak-Rev was a Wookiee drummer. Originally from the planet Srilur, he performed at a monastery dedicated to the Wookiee god of thunder. He eventually moved to Tatooine and worked for Jabba, but not as a drummer, but as a skiff guard, just so that he could be around others of his species. He becomes a part-time drummer for Jabba though. Umpass-stay was the other drummer of the group. He's from the Klatooinian species, and secretly works as a spy for Jabba while also performing for the Max Rebo Band. Both of these drummers perform in the style of taiko drumming, similar to the style of drumming that we see from the aliens in Star Wars Eclipse, and originally from Japan. Doda Badanawaidu is one of 2 Rodians in Rebo's band, like Greedo. He plays the slither horn and was orphaned as a young child when his parents were killed by bounty hunters. Doda had an affinity to classical Rodian music, but also to the crime world, which led him to Jabba. Griada Jendawanian is the other Rodian of the band. She acts as both a backup singer and dancer for the group. She's actually a longtime friend of Snootles and meets her on a luxury starship while playing the clue horn. The duo eventually joins up with Max Rebo. Lin Mei was another backup vocalist and Twi'lek dancer, which probably was an uncomfortable thing for her to be in Jabba's palace. She ends up actually falling in love with Boba Fett, which is what brought her to Jabba's palace to begin with. Rystall Sant was the 3rd singer and dancer who was originally from Coruscant. She was enslaved along with her family by Black Sun before good old Lando Calrissian wins them in a game of sabacc and then frees them. She clearly has a crush on Boba as well, seeing that she's flirting with the Boba Hunter in Jabba's palace. Barquin Da'an is the only Bith in Max Rebo's band and plays the infamous clue horn. He happens to actually be the brother of Fikrin Da'an of the Modal Nodes. He comes to Tatooine in order to join the Modal Nodes, but instead finds Rebo's band and is happy to join them since he resents the success of his brother's band anyways. Rappertuni, or Rapatoanalantoni Tivtolun, is from the Shora Oob species. He plays the Growdy, which is similar to the harmonica in our own galaxy. He joins the Max Rebo band on Tatooine, but always stays in Jabba's palace due to his displeasure with the desert climate. Joe Yauza, or was a Yuzum, which is another fuzzy species from the farthest moon of Endor. They were actually supposed to appear as a second species on the moon in the original version, but they were later cut, probably because they wouldn't sell toys quite as well as Ewoks. He stows away on a ship and when caught is put to work cooking and cleaning and taught galactic basic. While watching Ever Orbis and his galactic jizz whalers, he begins to sing along and Orbis falls in love with his voice and offers him a job. But when Orbis dies, Yauza joins Rebo's band on Tatooine as well. So, did you know all of these members before? And who's your favorite band member other than Max himself? Let me know in the comments below and tell me if I've missed anything in this episode. And before you go, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of the galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you. She's from the alien race known as the Peloic Chidinkalu. He's from the Klatooinian Doda Bada Nawayado. Doda Bada Nawayadu. Weidu. Griata Gendawanian. Gendawanian. Rappertuni or Rapatuanalatani Tivtolium. Rappertuni or Rapotwanalantoni is from the Shora Oob species.